OWCS Korea is always up to something, and their playoffs were no different. We got a single elim first to 4 bracket with the most important games to determine which teams move on to the Asia playoffs happening right away, as well as a disaster class performance from one of the world's best. So the first game, Crazy Raccoons vs FTG, was of course an elimination game, and with the way it was going, you'd think Lijiang Gardens itself was trying to go all the way to the top. I haven't seen players die to the map this much since Prime 12 Hogs 1 hole. These fall-offs need to be studied, and we got to experience the maximum range of players falling off the map. You got the easy stuff like Lucio's finding the textbook scenario for a boop, like when a drunk driver sees a perfectly placed tree or suburban fence, you know he better hit that. However, there's also stuff like Heesung jumping into Shu with no bubble. He must be searching for a cure to insomnia. The melatonin is not strong enough, and this is a surefire way to get some permanent shut-eye. Now that he's well rested, he brings his bubble along, pulls an agency dodge on the sleep dart, takes out Shu, and is still off the map. And finally, heading into OT, Heesung swaps to Diva for the contest, and as he's flying over the koi pond, he veers directly into Chorong. What are we doing here, bruh? You'd think he might be trying to avoid a boop from the window, but as soon as he sees Chorong, bro changes course faster than the pilot of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, and Chorong ain't done yet. Because after a detour in the spawn room, he pulls around town, sends Vindame flying, and stops Prophet's comeback hero moment with nothing but overwhelming pressure. Before this, Prophet hit the mid-slide 180-degree kill on Lip. Moving like montage number 20 needed some more clips. From there, he took out Shu, and Chorong appeared, ready to be another victim. However, in the heat of the duel, Prophet forgot he took the double dash perk, which ruined his vert in exchange for horizontal trajectory straight off the map. But the self-sabotage doesn't end there, cause Lip also forgot about the perk. Outside of that one submap, it was the expected Crazy Raccoon beatdown and was fairly uninteresting. I guess the highlight here was Heesung getting continued support from the Melatonin Menace. Shu went so far as to get exclusive tickets to MC Pillow and DJ Blanket's concerts. Bro dropped everything to see their show. He was mid-ult twice and said, "No, there is something I simply cannot miss. I have to attend this event." And so he went to bed immediately. On top of that, in map 4, the Shuriko was putting in crazy work, getting that good chip in the pre-fight so he could finish his own kill, then showing no mercy as Vigilante just walked out of spawn, going so far as to drop the bag on him, and finally showing up one more time in the kill feed to let him know who really does it. And in case that wasn't enough, just when FTG could have some delusional semblance of hope in overtime, down over 100 meters, Shu kills 2, then loops around, catches Sonjun lacking, and steals the bot for the C9, ending their misery. As for the other Asia playoff qualifying game, we had the partnered T1 up against Wei. The first map was an uneventful T1 win, and despite Wei switching tanks, it didn't appear as though anything was about to change. On their offense, Wei barely pushed into second, and matter of fact, if it wasn't for Who Are You heroics, they'd still be in their spawn room to this day. Even then, if T1 were able to get past first point, the job was all but finished. Like, look at where they pushed this thing, bruh. Pack it up. This shit is cooked. But just like the next level chef, sometimes the best dishes are made in the basement. And with less resources than a grad student's cupboard, Aid changed the game with a Legacy Widow performance. And this was the most unanticipated film of its genre since the PGE Blizzard World cinematic masterpiece. Aid slowed T1's pace to match their own, and promptly passed the baton with his Omniboost to Mr. Wei himself to complete the mission. He was the driving force behind every Wei fight win on this second point, whether it be finding kills outright or scaring T1 off the point with his mere presence. Genuinely right here, if Viper does not leave cart, T1 have the map win. we just call it a C9 and move on. But instead, Who Are You starts dashing on T1 like he got that Hollow Knight Dash Master X Sharp Shadow combo, and Wei tie up the series. T1 responded to their choke of the week with a reasonable full cap on Nambani with 30 seconds left on the clock, which is great, except they got blown out by Wei so brutally that the replay was wiped from existence. Luckily, we still caught Viper hitting the bird cosplay and smashing into a window at Mach 10. From there, somehow things only got worse. Some might think that Zestrana's solo barrage Who Are You here is a bit unnecessary, but these people haven't seen the horrors that this man is capable of. For a few minutes, T1 had the lead, but then the ancient dragon locked in. Bro chased Dopey Opie around the block for the Ajax and diced up the rest of T1 at a rate that hadn't been witnessed since a slap chop entered the scene in 09. No matter how long he stays dormant, every now and then, bro gotta pull up to make sure everyone remembers that he's the best goddamn Genji in the game. Now get the fuck out of his lobby. If you were trying to genetically construct the perfect Genji player, you take the longevity of Who, the accolades of R, and the peaks of not you, but him. So after the entire team got folded like a lawn chair by a single dude, and I'm talking packed up, ready to go to the beach with almost 3 minutes to spare, T1 of course banned Genji with their tournament life on the line. But it's not only that, because if they lost this series, they would be the first partnered team disqualified from the first major of the year. Even though the map came down to one last flashpoint, with their backs to the wall, T1 started to fight back. And Donghack opened with a sensational bait on Pepe's cage. His timing could not be better, but Zest's could not be worse. He fulfilled every player's most childlike desire to use the skylight to make a sick play. But what awaited him at the bottom was nothing but a sick and twisted reality. Donghack's outplay was so huge, even his own became a victim. Despite this, T1 still controlled their own destiny, with support ults in their favor, at least until we were treated to the opener act. After this, things were no longer Chilean, but don't worry, Opener had one more trick up his sleeve. With help from his assistant Skewed, he made T1's hopes and dreams disappear. Age shot a well-placed adhesive siphon boosted disruptor shot, and after bro dashed out of Skewed's LOS, it drained him for all he was worth. Even with the Genji banned, T1 couldn't get the job done, and Wei moved up in the bracket as well as secured a spot in the Asia playoffs. With that, we've reached the top 4, and thanks to ZETA Division's top placement in the seeding decider matches, they got to pick Wei as their opponent, relegating the crazy Raccoon vs Team Falcons banger to the semifinals. Now, a lot of people thought ZETA Division were about to walk all over Wei, but when Alpha Yi pulled up and got his ass beat so bad he started playing mystery heroes on the very first round of the match, it became clear that was not in the cards. Eventually, he ended up on the same hero he started on, but bro could not handle the anti-air wrecking wheel. Alpha Yi must have had a multi-million-dollar bounty on him, because he was hunted down to the point where when he closed his eyes, all he could see was the spawn room. Like, this is not normal. No one in the history of the game has had to hide behind this palm tree for cover. What is he supposed to do, bruh? He's getting shot from angles that don't even exist. In a desperate attempt to live for longer than 30 seconds at a time, he swapped to Torb and he got one. Yes, yes. But he still couldn't live. The bad news for Wei is that Alpha Yi being dead on cooldown isn't enough to win the point on its own. But Who Are You deciding to kill 6 in a single fight might just be. While this blade looks like it just got the one, it mind-controlled Violet to step into the wrong neighborhood. Bro was absolutely not welcome. The best part is he busted through with full confidence, but as soon as he saw the gang, he tried to skedaddle away. A third of this round was just Who Are You looking for the next victim to extend his combo chain on, and bro was not dropping it. Of course, Who Are You didn't stop there, and he set Wei up for success in the last round, making sure that we all know that he alone has more 4Ks than Best Buy got in their entire inventory. This put Wei one fight fight off from getting an early map up in the series, and with their ult economy in the overtime, it was winnable. Lee Soo-min had the lane, and after TPing into Suzu his guy, he doubled back to pave a road to victory, and we've C9'd. The road ahead does not work. Milgaru truly thought Lee Soo-min tagged him out. Bro damn near flew off the point once he got Suzu'd. He said, good luck everybody else, I'ma go do my own thing. Who did he think was about to hold down the fort? The Kiriko who used every cooldown on him? Like, for real? Bro, this shit is crazy. Despite the loss, Wei had hope. This was an achievable win. And for map 2, an unlikely hero appeared. Okay, actually, maybe hero isn't the right word, because this behavior is not normal. Dare I say it's deranged or psychotic in nature. And I'm not just talking about Shu-esque cross-map nades that set up who are you for highlight play number who really is. Those are cool, but at the end of the day, he just chucking that shit down the map under zero pressure and watching everyone else do the big work. No, Maka can do that just fine, but he's trying to get a bit more active. For basically this entire map, his decision-making process came down to peep this bro, I'm him, before taking the most outrageous angle you've ever seen. Goddamn Spilo would have his protractor out for this, because even an angle maxer like him isn't familiar with Maka's capabilities. This guy is playing like he's in a VC with his friends, and they hit him with the, okay, now hard flank on the other side this time, and bro asked no questions. He just said, I bet. He pulled up, got a kill, and had the entire Zeta operation run him down. This is the best use of free will that I have ever witnessed in Overwatch. You can see the thought process in real time, like, oh, you know what? Why can't I just walk up behind them, kill Finn, kill his whole family while I'm at it, and you know what? Who's really stopping me from hitting this hard, whack-ass flank for a second time? The best part is he whiffed the nade, then contemplated where he was and what he was doing. And in a moment of weakness, he ran back home to his team before saying, fuck this, I ain't no bitch, the backline calls. With a rejuvenated mind and fuck it we ball mentality, he pulled through, helped who are you get a trade, and died doing what he loved, going for the clip. With Maka's dastardly tactics, Wei were able to tie up the series at 1, and going into King's Row, Wei kept up the momentum. Who are you put up yet another 3-piece combo, and at this point, I've poured so much honey on him that I'm afraid he is going to drown in it. Then when it came time for the big ult fight, Aid was prepared with all the ingredients necessary for a Zeta backline kebab. He completely skewered him with the rail collateral. Then from here, it was disastrous. Peppy got blown up by Violet, and Zeta went on to finish the map flawlessly with over 2 minutes on the clock. Wei themselves had a mediocre 3rd point push, and Peppy putting on his Kaluge cosplay didn't help the situation. We are talking back-to-back whiffed ults. Even though he got this kill in the end, broken ankles never fully heal, and the mental scar lasts forever, or at least until the end of the series. And the next map only got worse. Who Are You poured his heart and soul into these plays, but when he turned around, his team was nowhere to be seen. Traded out faster than Mikko Rantanen from the Carolina Hurricanes. The result? An unholdable position that put Zeta on match point. Not only that, but Zeta finally used their Genji ban for Saravasa, and without LeJesus on Genji, Wei had to find other avenues to turn water into wine. Luckily, if there's one thing you can count on, it's Zeta Division taking all Cash App requests like a broke college student looking at Burger King coupons in the mail. That shit is vile, but bread is bread. Just peep Violet getting crossed up so bad the ball ain't on his screen. And after he walks out of harm's way, he doubles back to position himself perfectly to get exploded. You can't make this shit up. Milgaru breaks his ankle, so bro sleeps the floor, and sure, I get it, but he was safe from danger till the notification popped up. Then it was one small step for one giant boost to the bank account. And if that wasn't enough, Bernard became a victim to temptation with the Lipoco bomb through this fuck-ass Saravasa sunroof. It doesn't matter what's going on, if the opportunity arises, you must go for the clip. And while this trolling occurred, a certain someone was lurking in the shadows, regaining the energy he used up prior. Maka lived on just 5 HP, but this was the proof he needed. No one could stop him. Not the government, not the mental institution he surely visited after this series. God damn it, that boy was born to be silly. Have you ever seen an Ana mark the enemy tracer? Alpha, you tried to dip, but Maka was having none of it. Probably used the Nano for the self buff and went on the journey to the backline, using himself as bait to mind control Alpha Yi into the duel. He truly could not handle Maka in any regard. Bro got jump scared by the Nano Ana, recovered his HP, then went back to run the fade, only to get sat down and have Maka invite his good pal over to see the crime scene. At least Alpha Yi could cope by knowing that Maka had the help of a broken self Nano. It wasn't a fair fight, and that's what makes this next schmick so tough. There isn't enough copium in the world to recover from being goobed like this. Alpha Yi? Nah, that's Beta Yi to a guy like Maka. Absolutely zero respect given. A lot of people would insta-fire Sleep Dart at the enemy who isn't looking, but not Maka. He's different. Bro didn't flinch when he saw him, didn't so much as move his crosshair, just boom, sent bro to visit Kirby in Dreamland. With this, Wei forced a map 6, and just because it was Lijiang Tower doesn't mean that Maka was done. He was going where no Ana had gone before. It got to the point where Bernard was playing Valorant checking corners as a 700 HP tank. Even then he had to do a double take, because it doesn't matter if you're expecting it, you're not really expecting it. But getting caught once didn't matter to Maka. Bro is still playing like it's 6v6 open queue and he got 3 supports. This guy is walking from backline to backline with no map and arriving at his destination right on time. And as soon as he started getting active in the fight, Bernard dropped what he was doing to intervene, taking the bait. With Bernard a good 2,500 kilometers away from his team, Who Are You was free to turn up and secure the round, putting Wei up 1-0. Now, on Control Center, the Ana flank options seem perhaps limited, but Maka snuck around to the outside and put on a clinic with Who Are You, while the rest of Wei rolled over and died. Could this be due to a lack of healing? Maybe. But Your Honor, Aid walked out on Bastion with the flank Ana planned. He made the sandwich. And despite all that, in a 2v5, Who Are You and Maka nearly got the job done. Plus, thanks to some more masterful manipulation, Maka got to maintain his position heading into the next fight, which set up Wei to get the point flip. He putting out that big press, holding all kinds of space for Wei, cause Bernard has to deal with the big threat before Zeta can move out. After this little maneuver, the Maka flanks aren't seen again, and the round turns into an Alpha Yi highlight reel. I don't know if he overcame the shock of the Suravasa incident or if the prospect of a map 7 woke him up, but he bounced back like your rage after being 5-0'd by Charlie. No agency training arc required. By the end of the round, he had Who Are You starring in a Tom and Jerry sequence, chasing Alpha Yi across the map while slicing the air like he's warming up his golf swing. Bro looked both ways before trying to cross Alpha Yi, but got crossed up in the process. He's looking the wrong way. And for round 3 with their tournament life on the line, you already know Maka is on some bullshit. He took on the Seeker challenge. We got a copycat killer on our hands. Someone please call up the behavioral analysis unit. We need the BAU. We need Spencer Reed to dissect what's going on inside the head of this sick and twisted individual. Even with Zeta saying, fuck this, I don't want to deal with it. You know what? Take the point for free. Maka didn't want to, he wasn't about to leave his angle. He completed the initial split of the Seeker challenge in record time, and now he's moved on to hiding in spawn while there's an entire fight going on across the map, leaving his team down a player and doing fuck all when he's needed most. Nah, this is too crazy. At this point, we gotta summon the Avengers, get Dr. House on the horn for a differential diagnosis on what causes Ana flankitis, and the audacity to show up to this fight after his whole team's on the respawn screen. From there, we got one last Zeta choke when they should have packed it up, but they corrected it instantly and finally put away the series to make grand finals, where they wait for the winner of the classic Crazy Raccoon versus Team Falcons showdown giga banger. As we know, Crazy Raccoon and Team Falcons are the best Overwatch teams in the world, so when they face off, you can expect the highest caliber, most jaw-dropping light vs. L type strategic gameplay and awe-inspiring individual skill on display. However, this isn't true 100% of the time. Every now and then, one of them is fucking around, locked into a 2-week Minecraft phase, or still trying to figure out their version of the meta. Or, you know, they just weren't feeling it that day. And when they faced off in the Korea playoffs, people were thinking that might be the case. Crazy Raccoon just came off their weakest showing in a weekend probably ever, with losses to both Falcons and Zeta. This meant for the first time under the Crazy Raccoon's banner, a non-Falcons team beat them. Yeah, before this, they hadn't lost to anyone else in almost a year. But in a pleasant turn of events, the series started with intense competition. Every point went the distance and Crazy Raccoon bounced back for the dub. I mean, these guys had their eyes on the prize. Junbin was so precise with the Winston snipes that you could tell he was in the lab watching all of Ovi's 895 career goals. And on map 2, we got even more highlight plays, especially from Proper on the Soj. It's like every now and then, the demonic being he sold his soul to in order to be this damn good at Overwatch speaks to him and demands that he logs hitscan from Stalker just to show off his raw mechanics. For a while, it didn't look like Crazy Raccoon would make it to third point at all. But then, the path forward opened up. With less than a minute on the clock, Hanbin's int timer struck 0. Unable to fight the urge to feed, he ran a half marathon across the map directly into CR spawn. Stalker tried to follow him on his mission, but I don't care if you send in the Navy or the goddamn Wonder Pets, it don't matter. There is no rescuing this mission. When you look over and see Shu walking through the fight like Moses parting the Red Sea, straight into the backline for a 2K, it's easy to see how running it down that one time was the turning point in the series. Not even breaking the emergency Zarya glass was enough to finish the map, and Falcons went down 2-0. But don't you worry, failing to complete the map didn't stop Hanbin from running back the Zarya.
Hanbin, it's been 2.5 minutes, and he has 51%. 2.5 minutes.
The Falcons playbook for Kings Row was ripped bar for bar from the 2022 to 23 San Francisco Shock. They told Proper that if he didn't kill 5, it was Jove. We talking ice soup for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And he didn't just have no help, his team was sabotaging the game. Fielder gave him this nano when he had no type of cooldowns. What do you want him to do with this? He went in 1v3 with nothing but a Zarya bubble on his back while his team was doing their best jack and shit impersonation. And only once he's out of there do we give him the nano. Now his best use of the boost is to stand menacingly on the high ground. And by the time his CDs are back, he's fucking dead. He keeps trying to solo bolo the high ground, hoping one day his bum-ass team will be able to do anything whatsoever. But just like a consistent Tommathan upload schedule, that shit is not happening. The rest of Falcons acting like a bunch of low-tier anime villains monologuing before the showdown. They're saying a whole lot, but they cannot get to the point. If they aren't walking to the objective, then surely the high ground is in their sights, right? Nah. Fielder tried to get his steps in one time, but after Shu let him know that he did not have the authorization, no one dared to try again. Bro probably said, nah, the security is too tight, we can't get in. But in reality, he just not built for it. With that, they had one last chance, a nano blade to take them out of first point. Proper got out the TP, went in for the kill, and whiffed the slash so bad, it ain't even hit his demons, bro. There was nothing there. This shit was so ass, he had to take his hands off the keyboard. And in that split second, Chorong caught him lacking to take him out of his misery. Oh yeah, and that Hanbin grab that took 3.5 minutes to use, straight into a Sigma with a beautiful shield and a Mei who was frankly too chill to die. The silver lining is during that last fight, Falcons managed to tick, so it's winnable, and Hanbin's dead. It took bro less than 20 seconds to lose his mech. And yet, I still think he did more damage as Baby Diva right there than he did on the entirety of the offense. After Shu shot a single sleep dart, the entire operation crumbled and there was no coming back. Team Falcons were broken beyond repair. For a team with Saudi money, they had a suspicious lack of gas. And I mean they got full capped on Suravasa in 6 minutes flat. There was no contest. It simply did not matter how close the first 2 maps were. They did not want to be there. They were going home. Which means we got a rare grand finals where Zeta Division didn't feel like an afterthought or a fortunate bracket path that gifted them a top 2 placement. For Zeta's entire existence, it's been a Lewis lit situation where even though he's part of the team, Nobody trying to get down in the mud with them. But now they're trying to go the distance and prove that they weren't third wheeling. It's not a dynamic duo and that one other guy that's pretty good. But there's just one problem. Zeta Division handled pressure worse than glass under a hydraulic press. And they know it too, because there is no way to accidentally troll this consistently and this beautifully every time. Like, why is Pelican so happy to get Nano that he's jumping for joy at just the right moment to take a dip in the ocean? And how does Violet seamlessly transition from dialed-in gameplay to adding a couple zeros to his bank account? And this time, we don't have to ask why he jumped because we already know. You can see his dedication to the craft as he appears to barely missed the ledge, but don't get it twisted, he knew exactly where he was going, straight to the bank. However, for some players, even on Zeta Division, the pressure can create diamonds, like Pelican on the flank May to open the fight. Inspiring. And yeah, he did toss his blizzard straight into the DM. It's true, Max was far too hungry. He's not answering Cash App. That boy is starved. I don't blame him. He don't even get playtime. But what's more important is that Pelican ain't need that blizzard. He's cool with it. Max can have it. Bro clutched up with the kills and completed the map, giving Zeta the leeway they needed for the mass trolling events across their defense. You might think with Crazy Raccoon inevitably finishing the map themselves, Zeta were due to troll the extra rounds as well. Except one man was looking to put a stop to it. Flora, when it matters, is a real threat. Now there's a lot of people out here who are trying to tell you that Flora can't get it done. But I promise you, that boy, just like PD Piranha, he got a little dog in him on the DL. You can't convince me that Chain Chomp and Piranha Plants aren't related in some capacity. That's all I'm saying. And Flora, he's probably an illegitimate child between the two of them, because what he's doing right now was off the chain. He is doing all he can in these fights. Zeta had no business seeing second point without these heroics, and he got no payment in exchange for these services. Then on the other side, when it was time to defend, who else could it be but Flora with a better timed flank than the CEO of a metronome factory? Chorong had no play but to drop the ray, letting Zeta wipe him out and tie up the series. Somehow on a map where Violet literally killed himself, they still won. It's fantastic that Flora was able to overcome Zeta's trolling, but here's the thing about that. Crazy Raccoon were doing significantly less of it. In fact, they were so pissed that they lost Havana, they 3-0'd Saravasa. It wasn't close. And on King's Row, not only did Crazy Raccoon try to push the pace like they already had a non-refundable party limo booked for map 5, they set out to break down Bernard's spirit. With the sweet release of death mere steps away, Crazy Raccoon added a good 10 seconds to his respawn timer. And while that doesn't seem like a lot, you can see the toll this took on him. In the very next fight, Bernard puts himself in a prime position to get staggered again. There is nowhere worse on the map he could possibly be. But instead of trying to take himself out, he keeps fighting long after the battle is over. He's looking for revenge whether or not he wires another 700 HP directly into the opposition ult bank. And it's a good thing Shu missed that sleep dart, because if it hit, there's not a single working computer on that stage. It was honestly divine intervention for Shu to even miss that, because he was setting up plays all day. The only thing this man fears is going out sad. He is walking headfirst into an enemy rally with no cooldowns and a smile on his face, cause he's like that. As if Bernard hadn't gone through enough already, to close the map, he was asleep on the floor, watching his team get bombed. No glaze, but I don't know how Shu was able to look impressive while sleeping a diva. But this shit looks sick as fuck. Then he tells his guy to follow up on the free fight win he created out of nowhere and drops a nade for fun. Actually, nah, full glaze, just look at this beautiful gameplay. He scales the wall, hits a goom nade on the backline, and sleeps bro off the map. What? How was Alpha Yi supposed to combat this situation? You turn the corner, you see the guy you're supposed to shoot at, you shoot at him, and now you're fucking dead. Alpha Yi was really having a terrible time on the Pharah from start to finish on this point. Hisang is trying to pack this shit up, and winning the aerial duel is the first step in this process. With that squared away, he takes the nano boost and wreaks havoc on the backline. And I mean, there's nothing to stop him, so why wouldn't he? Well, perhaps he has his eyes on something far more sinister, because this isn't just a spawn camp, this is commandeering an enemy aircraft. I don't even care that he crash landed. This shit was fire. Alpha E has no clue what's going on till he gets jump scared at cruising altitude by a rocket in his face. At this point, you just gotta hang it up. The skies are not for you. At this point, you can probably see that Zeta Division did in fact not change the narrative and instead got physically and mentally, you know what, and probably emotionally shoved into a locker. It doesn't matter how you look at it, Zeta Division got lit the fuck up. And folks, their only map win other than Flora's felonious folding came at the hands of Chorong and Junbin doing a little trolling of their own. For example, where the fuck does he think he's going? And then you look to the opening ball gameplay of Junbin and it's just a whole lot of nothing. Bro's lost his damn mind. The hamster wheel inside his brain that makes him so good at this character, he was taking a break. He wasn't around. With that, those are my best and worst plays of OWCS Korea playoffs. Will I ever get to NA, EMEA, Asia, or China? I don't know, but who's to say? Stay tuned to find out, I suppose. Have yourself a damn good one. Deuces.